Hey guys, today we have a special guest star who's going to be with us in the studio as we talk about our upcoming trip to Canada this spring for our Asphalt Odyssey 23. Well, hey guys, look who I have in the studio with me today, a special guest star, Miriam.
It's good to be back.
It's been a crazy winter and early spring so far.
Yeah, and we've kind of reached the realization that we're less than 60 days out from the June trip, and not quite in a panic, I would say. The category below panic, not sure what that is, but where has the time gone?
You know, it always seems to be this way. We survive winter thinking, when will it ever end? And spring gets here and it's like, oh gosh, we got to plan this trip.
March is just a blur. We had a lot going on in March.
Yes, we did.
Our wedding anniversary, your birthday, my dad's birthday. We had house guests.
An old friend came in from out of town. Someone stole my car. There was an earthquake, a terrible flood, locusts. It wasn't my fault.
And there was that little jaunt to California for 6 days.
That she got to do. Well, I was left unsupervised.
Yeah, who could pass up an opportunity to spend some time with my kids,
And smoke a cigar and sip some single malt.
I didn't smoke
single
a cigar.
malt high-end scotch.
That's what you did. And it was cool to be in the desert when it wasn't 100 degrees or hotter. So it was really a pretty time of year to visit Joshua Tree National Park. So I'm glad I did it, but we are so behind. But preparations are hot underway.
For our upcoming trip, it's not going to be as long as last year's trip, either time-wise or distance. You can see by our planning board up there, if you can see it up north, we're heading up to Canada. But the details of that trip, well, we have yet to work out the details, but we know we're going to Canada.
We had one route planned, and then realized that we don't have enough time to cover all of that territory. So
I got to jump in here. When I'm trying to work on the schedules, we have tours at BRP at the factory. They're only open a set number of days a week, not the whole week. A ferry, we want to get coming back from Nova Scotia. We realized there's no way to make that work without having an inordinate amount of time just spent waiting for something to happen.
not just that, though. We only have not quite 30 days because although I'm retired, I've taken this part-time job, and I'm a companion for an 88-year-old woman who is beginning to experience dementia. And so I can't, my employer, her daughter, has been very gracious in being flexible with me, but when I'm away, that means she has to find somebody else to be with her mom. So, there are a lot of things to juggle, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's not just taken off, which is why we're probably not going to visit New Brunswick and Nova Scotia on this trip. We hope to do that someday, because it would really be nice to visit those areas.
The scale of distance eluded me because I'm not used to looking at a map for that part of the world. So
Yeah.
For us to go from Quebec City over to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and back to Bangor, Maine, will be similar to driving from our home to the Mississippi River. The distances are vast. So
Canada is vast.
Yeah, so we decided to cut the Nova Scotia portion of the trip out.
Yeah, it's funny when you don't have a frame of reference, when you haven't visited somewhere before. You have to really look at that. But we've got lots of other preparations underway.
Yes, we do.
think thanks to George and Denise, you may remember.
Hey guys.
You may remember them from our second meetup. They were the couple that had to leave early because there was a hurricane heading towards their home in Florida. But our trip happens to kind of intersect with theirs, so we're going to have an opportunity to ride with them for the first 3 days, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, good folks.
So we enjoyed a Zoom call with them recently to work out some of those details.
I don't know where we would be without Zoom. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we're doing some other things. What else are we doing?
Some of the advice we received in our comments when we were considering insurance, because we've learned that our health insurance will not cover us while we're in Canada, and Canadian insurance does not cover non-citizens. So we needed to get travel insurance, and some of you had recommended AAA. We took your advice and went down there and got some quotes, and the prices were reasonable, very reasonable.
Yeah.
So they sell it in 30-day increments. So we're going to be obtaining that as we grow nearer. So we got that option resolved. For us, it's a $50,000 coverage.
For just over $100.
Yeah, and I hope we don't exceed that. If not, one of us will be putting the other one in the back of a truck and driving back across the border.
Oh dear, yeah. So that was a nice surprise that was as reasonable as it was. And we're doing some other things too, trying to increase our activity level. You know, last year we learned long distance travel is not for sissies.
It is, especially when you're on the Spyder, it is quite demanding physically, which is one of the reasons we opt for shorter travel days, just because of the demand.
Yeah. So trying to increase our activity just to build more stamina. I didn't mean to be a couch potato during the winter, but I've gotten soft.
It was cold. It was just good to sit inside near the fireplace and just stay warm.
Yeah.
And watch other people's YouTube videos.
Yeah, and I got to fit into my motorcycle pants too. That's always a concern.
Yep. Another thing we're going to do in the early part of May is International Female Motorcycle Ride Day. So last year we had an opportunity to interview 3 riders and put those interviews on this channel. But what we want to do this year, something a little different, is send us your photographs of you and your preferred ride, and your name, of course, and we will, and where you're from, that'd be nice, and we will post your photograph on an upcoming video in honor of International Female Motorcycle Ride Day.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. And remember, our email is asphaltodyssey@gmail.com. And would you put that on the screen too?
I will put it on the screen. Magic, wait. Quickly. There. Now let me get rid of it. Okay. Well, guys, that's going to be about it for today's video.
Thanks for spending some time with us, and we look forward to hearing from you in those, especially those photographs and emails for Female Ride Day.
Absolutely. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And also, we haven't just found out, if you hit that thumbs up button, it also affects the algorithm on YouTube, so our videos get posted for interest, so we can share the love with those folks. So we would greatly appreciate that. So,
y'all take care.
Bye-bye, guys.
Wanna get gone.